Hi, my name is Alberto Mariscal, and I'll be talking about time management, social skills, and being open minded.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Torres. I'll be talking about study skills, note taking, and bad habits.
Hi, I'm Andrea Orozco, and I'll be talking about reading skills, asking for help, and priorities.
Hello, I'm Sandra Armenta, and I'll be talking about avoiding procrastination and being presentable, also listening skills.
Okay, so according to USA Today, time management is very important. Managing your time, figuring out how long it will take you to complete an assignment or review for an exam isn't exactly science. Every student is different, so each student requires a different amount of time for studying. Over time, you'll figure out how is the best to manage your time. Good time management means you get your assignment done on time, but it also means you pace yourself appropriately so that you are producing the highest quality of work possible. Knowing how to keep and follow a calendar is another important part of time management. Just as you need good time management when studying, you need it when entering the working world. If you establish a time management habit that works for you in college, you can easily apply it to your career when it comes to accomplishing various tasks for your company. So, for example, like if you are a working college student, managing your time efficiently is very important.
I'm Sandra, and I'll be talking about the importance of listening skills. Not daydreaming or falling asleep in class because you have to listen at all times, and you might miss something that the professor might say. And the way to apply in the real world is being reliable to others and doing everything properly. For example, a job assignment or simply jotting notes down that can be useful for the future. In a TED Talk by Julian Treasure, he mentions the importance of listening well, and he mentions conscious listening creates a better understanding of things. He also mentions that being silent is an essential to good listening and savoring the sounds around you as paying attention and appreciating them. Professor Levi's mentions on her website that listening with an open mind is such needed because we won't always agree with everything that people tell you, and that's okay because it's a way of learning and experiencing.
So, I'm Andrea, and I'll be talking about reading skills. According to USA College Today, college students are required to read a lot. It means understanding and absorbing the meaning so you can remember for tests and assignments. Your reading speed does not matter in college. You must actually understand the material you are assigned. What's the point of reading something if you don't understand it? It's okay to reread it a couple times until you do. For example, there was a time I was assigned material to read. I read it but didn't understand it. I thought I was okay to go, and little did I know that there was a pop quiz the next day. I didn't know the answers because I didn't actually understand the material. In the real world, let's say you are given a task written by your boss and you don't understand and you just do it. Your work outcome will be done poorly that might result in being replaced by someone who will actually read the material and actually understand it. How you will develop it? You will develop this skill by reading material that you didn't understand or summarize every paragraph or so to actually understand each section.
So, I'm Kimberly. I'll be talking about study skills. Knowing what's important, analyzing material, and knowing the material reading or writing is important to taking down notes. It's important to annotate important information. In an article from Science Daily, a professor named Kira of educational psychology calls the method SOAR, which is selecting key lesson ideas, organizing information with comparative charts and illustrations, associating ideas to create meaningful connections, and regulating learning through practice complements how the brain processes information works. Also, creating study groups to go over material is it's another way to study. If you're not comfortable studying by yourself, you can always ask other people to create study groups with you. In USA Today College, many students find being part of a study group to be helpful to their academics. Studying with others can give you more motivation to study, and study buddies may also be able to help you through challenging classes. Being a team player is a critical career skill. In most careers, you'll have to interact with others. The more social skills you build while in college, the more easily you'll be able to achieve greatness with other people in your workplace. An example would be if you don't understand. Well, an example for me would be if you don't understand something, especially in math. There's some. It's important to create study groups so you can exchange notes with others. And if it's lecture notes, it's more important in case you miss anything.
Okay, so Alberto here, and I'm going to be talking about being open minded. Many people might not agree to what you say or stand up for, but if it's what you believe in, you should have the right to fight for it. But at the same time, be open minded and don't be too critical on other people because they have their own beliefs and it's not like right to just state your facts and what you believe in and just be open minded to what other people say. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's normal because this is how we learn, according to Sally Olivas. And it's true because sometimes we might be closed minded and might not be able to accept others' point of views. But if we do, we might learn new things and even accept new things that we might not be willing to accept. But according to Frank Sumberg's online, it expands your relationships, it builds trust with other people, it challenges the status quo, it expands your horizons, it enhances your decision making, and you may obtain the truth with it.
Okay, Sandra here, and I'm going to be talking about being presentable. The way you dress, I feel, shifts your mood throughout the day. And the way you present yourself as far as dressing can say a lot about you. If you dress like you don't care or lazy, then it can affect your work and your mood towards your work. It can also reflect on how people look at you. They probably won't take you seriously, or if you dress lousy at work, then people will assume you don't care and get discouraged by it. In other words, turned off. On a psychology website online, some of the goals of self-presentation is presenting a certain image because a person benefits from the images in some ways depending on the situation. For the most part, they want to seem desirable and likable, which revolves around developing, maintaining, and enhancing your appearance.
Yeah, not only that, but just simply taking a shower in the morning will uplift somebody's mood. For example, if you just wake up and go to school, you're most likely to still be lazy, with no energy. But by simply taking a shower, you'll be in a better mood. You'll feel more uplifted. You'll be joyful, and you'll most likely be more successful in class.
That's true.
Yep. Okay, so Andrea here, and I'll be talking about asking for help. According to Professor Oliva's off of her How to Succeed page, ask questions. The students who ask the most questions have the best grades. Don't be afraid to raise your hand in the middle of class. More than likely, someone else is wondering the same exact thing you are, and they are also afraid. There was times when I was too afraid to raise my hand in high school, but coming to college, I realized that no one really cares if you do, because it also helps them in a way. And also, we are all there to grow our minds. In the real world, knowing when to ask things in your job fields will be very important. You can't do your job if you don't know how to do it. Speaking up might be scary to some people that are shy, but it is a must to expand your knowledge and create a smooth workflow. And also how you will develop it. Don't think too much of it. Relax and just ask for help if you need to. It's not a big a deal as you think it might be.
Alright, so Kim here. So for good study skills, you should have good note-taking skills. Know what works for you. Everybody has different note-taking skills and methods. You can highlight, color code, and rereading your notes to make sure you go over the material that you need to study for, such as quizzes or exams. It's important to pay attention to the material, especially if it's a lecture. Write down anything you might not understand during that lecture or lesson. Swap notes with other classmates. Compare notes. Working at Home Depot made me realize that note-taking is very important to memorize each and every tool, know the functions, how to fix it if there's a problem. Also, talking with my colleagues is also important for me to take down notes that anything that I may not know. So in Professor Oliva's website, she mentions to keep up with assignments in reading. It's important to keep up with assignments in reading in order to take good notes and to go back for reference. Also ask questions. Like Andrea said, the students who ask questions have the best grades.
Okay, so social skills are also very important. Being able to communicate with others is very crucial. If we aren't able to communicate well with others, we might not get our point across, and it can confuse the professor or fellow classmates. So, for example, if a question was asked in class, and I'm trying to say the answer, and I'm not saying it properly, then other students might not get the point or might get confused, and it might not just make sense in general. According to Seattle Pie, um, having a social life in college is very important because it develops lifelong connections. Through regular socializing, students develop lifelong connections that pay off in unexpected ways.
Yeah, I can relate to that because as a fashion design student, my fashion teachers have taught me that it's very significant to network with other people in the fashion industry. And if you don't know how to network, then this isn't your calling. And it's beneficial to be to have these certain connects with others, because you may never know who you might come across, like someone who may know an artist or someone higher up who can really open opportunities for you and get your name out and your work and whatnot.
Yeah. Also, having communication skills can also help you when it comes to getting the job. For example, like in the interview, a person might have more experience, but if he can't get her point across or communicate well with others, he or she might not be able to get the job because she doesn't have good social skills. And also, having social skills is also just a stress reliever in general. It will reaching out to others helps to ease loneliness and makes it more likely that you'll develop good social skills, which you will need in the workspace.
Yeah, and then Sandra here. Again, I'll be talking about avoiding procrastination. So, an example is, actually, advice really is doing work as quick as you can when you are assigned it. It'll make your life so much easier. And according to Professor Levis on her How to Succeed website, she states that procrastination can lead to stress and poor outcomes. So you may want to just half-ass the work, but the consequence of that is getting comfortable with settling for less and not reaching your full potential.
Okay, so Andrea here, and I'll be talking about priorities. According to Professor Olivas from her How to Succeed page, if college isn't a priority, don't waste your time and money and my time and effort. Come back when you're ready. Learn to prioritize your college education. You need to learn how to be selfish and put yourself first as well as your schoolwork first. For an example, there was many times where I needed to choose between going out or doing homework, and I always chose my schoolwork because I learned that it will always pay off later in life. In the real world, you cannot slack in anything. You may have deadlines, and if you do not meet them, you do not prioritize your job. In college, you will get a 0, but in work, you will get fired. Again, according to Rory Vaden from a TED Talk, waiting to do something we know we should do but don't feel like doing, that's the killer of success.
All right, Kim here. Lastly, some bad habits. Some bad habits you should try to avoid is bad writing. You should be able to read your writing. It shouldn't be sloppy. If you can't read your handwriting, you can't read the notes you took down during a lecture or one of your classes. Also, try to avoid procrastination. Not getting your work done just leads to more stress. And one very important thing you should always try to avoid is do not bust all-nighters. All-nighters have a lot of effects on your body and can be dangerous, especially if you drive. According to the HuffPost, chronically getting little sleep can be dangerous. For example, drowsiness behind the wheel can just be just as deadly as driving under the influence. Sleep deprivation can result in heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. I have one example of busting an all-nighter. I went 2 nights without sleep, and it was just bad. I couldn't concentrate during my lessons. I was drowsy the whole time. A friend wanted me to drive, but after just being 5 minutes behind the wheel, I could not drive. I just pulled over, and it's dangerous, and you should never do it. Try to avoid pulling all-nighters. Always be organized, and manage your time, as Alberto has said. And thank you for listening to our podcast. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye.
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 Deuces.